Jesus Christ hates Halloween in church. Let me tell you why he hates it. Because it's taking God's name in vain. Okay? Exodus 20 and verse 7. You shall not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. The Lord will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. Now here's what you got to understand. There's more to this verse than just using a curse word connected to God's name. That should be obvious, that if someone just, now I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, to use a curse word behind God's name, but I'm saying obviously God would forgive that. So there's got to be more to this verse than meets the eye. Why will God not forgive the person who takes his name in vain? The better way to understand it is like this. You shall not carry the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that carries his name in vain. You see, as a Christian, we carry the name of God everywhere we go. We carry the name in our thoughts, in our actions, in our words, the things that we do, the things that we don't do, the things that we allow, the things that we allow in church. We as Christians are carrying God's name everywhere we go. You see, when you carry God's name into pagan practices, you're taking God's name in vain. When we carry pagan practices and bring them into the temple of God and say, God, I know you accept this. I know this, I've sort of had my doubts about it, but we're carrying this pagan practice like Halloween and we're placing it on the altar, on the temple of God. You've taken God's name in vain when you do that. And just like the temple prostitutes that were there, as you walked up to the temple, you could have sex with a male or female prostitute, and it was part of the worship of God. They were carrying God's name in vain, you see. Now, the reason God will not forgive this is very simplistic. Here it is, because you know better. Listen, don't kid yourself in thinking you don't know better. Don't kid yourself in thinking, oh yeah, I think Halloween is a good thing to have in church. Do not kid you. Give yourself credit where credit is due. You're not that ignorant, okay? I'm telling you, you're not that ignorant. So when I see these churches trying desperately to carry Halloween into the churches, I realize they're carrying a pagan practice into the temple of God, and they have taken God's name, they have carried God's name in vain. Now the simple question is this: do you want to be forgiven? Do you want to be forgiven? You can be forgiven. How can you be forgiven? Stop it. It's just that simple. Stop it. And I'm talking to preachers too that have allowed this into the church. You want to be forgiven of carrying God's name vainly into your church? Stop it. That's how you can be forgiven. Stop it.
Check us out on the web at isthatreallyinthebible.com.